Hi, this is Rich Sparks from Baby Boomer University. Now, touch is perhaps one of the most powerful senses of all. From the moment we're born to the day we die, we as a people need touch. And the problem is, as we get older, less opportunities for that touch happens, and it really has some negative impacts today on you. So today we have a great guest, Emily Waugh, and she is the owner of Peaceful Connection. She's a licensed massage therapist specializing in our elderly community. And this is Baby Boomer University, and classes in session. Well, Emily, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I really appreciate you coming out, and I do really believe in what you're doing, which is something that a lot of people, I think, underrate. Is that an experience you've had with the whole process?
I would agree with that.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about your background first, and then we'll get into some details and help tell people about what you do.
Okay. Well, in 2013, I started at Irene's Myomassology Institute.
I know Irene's.
Good. Training to become a massage therapist. And during the course of my education there, my own grandmother became ill. And I saw a need for maybe additional services to be available to that population of people. So fast forward a few years, I started working as a medical massage therapist, working with clients who had experienced traumatic brain injuries.
Now, and that was through a doctor's office, or how does that work with a medical massage therapist?
So that was through a company where physicians write a prescription for their patients to receive massage therapy services. And in the course of doing that work, I was visiting rehabilitation centers and nursing homes and encountered a lot of older folks, and it seemed like they were an underserviced population, that there was a need for additional services. So it inspired me, both of those things, my own grandmother's health and my work in the medical massage community, to fully devote my practice to working with older adults.
And there's not like a direct track going into that. Is there something more you developed?
Correct.
Okay.
There is a community center for compassionate touch that does provide those type of services more in a caregiving sense. So through training with that and through my training in massage therapy, I kind of married those together.
Nice.
And created a practice.
Nice. Well, I totally agree with you that our elder population is greatly underserved. And, as we talked right before the show, a lot of folks don't know. They just don't know what's available and why it's important such. So, and I found every person that works in this industry that specializes in seniors, the ones that are, let me rephrase that, really good working in this industry has a personal story behind it. So now, were you able to help your grandmother, or how did that go?
Well, she did pass pretty quickly.
Okay.
So I think it would have been something that could have been beneficial for her. So she's always in the back of my mind.
Sure.
When I'm working, and I like to dedicate my whole practice really to her.
Nice, nice. Well, I just read an article here lately that something as simple as the medical doctor placing his hand on a chronically ill patient and giving them straight eye-to-eye contact with that touch, they found that there's a greater percentage increase of that person beating that illness than the ones that don't. Something that minor. It's pretty incredible.
It is incredible. I was just speaking with a nurse the other day who said when she started in the nursing profession back in the 60s, their protocol was always to start with touch with their patient, put their hand on their back. And we've kind of moved away from that, and I'd like to see that brought back.
Across the whole realm.
Right.
I mean, they've done research on education, and something as simple as a teacher putting their hand on a child's shoulder has a great positive impact. But we've become a society that, touch.
Right.
And you're right. We've got to get over that, because the negative outcomes from it outweigh or don't outweigh the positive. So tell us a little bit about the types of massages you do. And there's some cool names that I'm going to ask you more about here in a second.
Okay, wonderful. So a lot of what I work with are people who are experiencing maybe pain from arthritis. Mm-hmm. They're taking medications, but they're still not feeling very well. So I provide, I'm sorry, I just lost it. So for example, neck massage. So the heat of the hands with specific techniques designed to relax the muscles and to promote circulation. And I'm finding that that is providing great relief. I just had a woman the other day. Wow. She said she was in physical therapy earlier this year, and after a few massage sessions, she had more relief from that massage than she had earlier this year with all kinds of interventions. So I think massage therapy is really a complement to existing wellness protocol.
Sure. And, you know, it's very easy to prescribe a pill versus massage therapy. So I'm going to have you tell us, because obviously I'm very well versed in all these, but I'll let you describe them. So you had on your website Reiki. Yes. So you go in the backyard and Reiki up? No?
Not exactly.
Okay.
So Reiki is more of an energetic practice.
Okay.
It's a gentle hands-on approach done with the patient clothed, and it's helping the client's own body to balance energies.
Okay.
And hospitals, I just have seen, specifically with cancer patients, are using this more and more to provide pain relief for their clients.
Oh, very cool. All right. Now, how about polarity therapy?
So polarity therapy is another type of energetic body work. Again, gentle touch to balance the body out. And oftentimes with that, it can help to ground people. So people that are experiencing anxiety because maybe they're in a lot of pain.
Okay.
And to help them feel more relaxed.
And obviously, if your body's more relaxed, and your stress is reduced, then pain symptoms, I imagine, would have to decrease.
I think so.
Yeah. All right, reflexology. I think I know this one, but
okay.
Go
So
ahead.
Reflexology is based on ancient traditions, and it's the idea that, for example, with the feet, each part of the foot correlates to a different part of the body. So, for example, the big toe relates to the head. So sometimes if somebody's having like chronic headaches, rather than working directly on the head, you could go to the feet, work on those pressure points.
Sure.
And relief can be experienced.
And let's talk about pressure points for a second.
Okay.
So I went to college in Japan. And there was another foreigner there that had to have their wisdom tooth removed. No medicine.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? Acupuncture.
Yes.
And pressure points, and the doctor removed the wisdom tooth. And I had asked her later, you know, how was it? She goes, well, it was really uncomfortable. She goes, but it wasn't excruciating, which I can imagine. Even with medicine, because I've never had one removed, it's still really uncomfortable. But, I mean, that's pretty powerful. If you can rip out someone's wisdom tooth with pressure points.
That's pretty amazing.
Isn't it?
So a lot of these modalities, so Reiki, polarity therapy, it's blending Eastern and Western healing therapies into one.
Which is pretty cool. And now, are you finding that people are more receptive to that now? Is that starting to become more receptive
Absolutely.
to it? Okay.
Because it works.
Right. At the end of the day, if you brought in a bowling ball and said, okay, hold this bowling ball and your neck pain will go away. And if it worked, they'd be like, I'll take 30.
Right.
So.
And I think as we age, sometimes the goal isn't to fix or cure, but it's to increase comfort and promote relaxation. And like you said, once you can promote relaxation, I think it helps people to tolerate whatever discomforts
And that's just one aspect, one of the benefits of this. We'll go into more of the different benefits because I really do believe in what you're doing, just because touch is so important. Mm-hmm. And as we get older, we lose that. You know, I'm trying with my kids right now, say, no, we still give hugs. You know, they're at that 16 and 14 age. And they're like, Dad, no, bedtime. We got to have a hug. And
I'm with you on that.
It's important. All right, so let's go to the next one. I am going to totally slaughter this name. Ayurvedic Thai massage.
Ayurvedic.
That's close.
Yoga massage.
Okay.
So that is another modality borrowed from Eastern tradition. And that involves, it's kind of like having yoga done to you. So a mixture of stretching and compressions. Traditionally, yoga or Ayurvedic yoga massage is practiced on the floor, on a mat,
right.
clothed, stretching compressions. But it can be modified for use on a massage table or even with someone lying down in their hospital bed.
Interesting. So I'll tell you my experience with Thai massage. Mm-hmm. So I was whitewater rafting in northern Thailand, came back, was a little bit sore, had a Thai masseuse come in, and it was a little lady about, 3'9". She was small. And so she's giving me this massage, and I'm like, calm down. She was like beating me to death. Well, at one point, she put her back on my inner thigh, put her feet on my other leg, and went, wow, and ripped all my ligaments. And I was hiking, backpacking around the country, so that made for an interesting time.
Wow, well, that doesn't sound like
No, she was
pleasant.
brutal. The best thing over there was, though, any town I went into, they had like 5,000 where people, little shops set up where you could get a leg and foot massage. Mm-hmm. That was awesome. I wish we had them here everywhere. They were fantastic. But yeah, she was brutal. I don't know if maybe she just didn't like foreigners or what, but boy, it was rugged.
I will say traditionally Thai massage is a very firm technique, but everything that I do and that I've learned is modified to work with aging populations of people. So we recognize that skin is more fragile, bones are fragile, so massage should never hurt.
Right.
So I'm sorry you had that experience.
No, actually,
sounds rough.
It makes for a great story. And the funniest thing was my buddy had one at the same time, and his was great. And he goes, oh, yeah, I think the lady that massaged you did like 10 guys in here. I go, well, how do you know? He goes, well, there was about 10 guys limping around in here. So he got a great joke out of it, so it was all good. But that's nice that you adapt according to the person. So how do you it's gauge that? You have to really hope they interact with you verbally to kind of tell you?
Well, communication is key. So I'm always asking, how is this pressure? I want feedback. And really the client or patient is the one in charge of the session.
Sure.
So I encourage feedback. Let me know how it's going. But I always start out gently.
And work your way up. Mm-hmm. Now, do you find that guys or females are better with the communication?
Oh, I'd say it's about equal.
Yeah?
I haven't really had any discrepancy there.
Have the guy that thinks he's macho and doesn't want to say it's too hard, or
maybe with younger men.
Yeah.
But I think once people get older, they're pretty forthright.
Don't care.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm wearing socks with sandals. I will tell you. Right?
Right.
All right. Well, that's good. That's good because that's important. I was trying to tell her, but unfortunately we spoke two different languages.
Yeah, that language barrier would be a problem.
Yeah. And maybe when I was trying to Google Translate, it was saying go harder. I don't know.
Right. But maybe just a thumbs down next time.
No, stop. All right. That's excellent. Now, one of the things I read about and I thought was really, really interesting is that, and they've done a lot of studies on this, but the importance of touch and especially what it means for the elderly is oxytocin is released via massages. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that and some of the benefits?
So my understanding is oxytocin is what they call the bonding hormone. It's the same hormone that's released when a pregnant mom gives birth, and it connects you to your infant. So I think with that, touch can create a sense of connection and belonging.
Oh, for sure.
I was just reading a study that I think it came out of the United Kingdom, that there are seniors that will go weeks without having any communication or any conversation.
Hey.
And so where loneliness is a factor, then
It's huge.
that translates into mood. So through touch, through presence, through eye contact, we can create that sense of you're still a valuable member of society. And I think that's really important.
Well, Harvard did a long study on socialization, and that's got to be part of it, is that touch and how it negatively impacts you, to the point where people who are isolated is the equivalent of smoking 2.5 packs of cigarettes a day.
Right.
That's pretty serious. So one of the things, according to the National Institute of Health, oxytocin lowers stress hormone levels, lowers blood pressure, and increases pain tolerances. So, I mean, and then they had a whole list of positive things that come out of this. Is there anyone that you've experienced over the years that you've really seen make a huge turnaround during your sessions or over the course of time?
I think what I've noticed the most in working with, for example, the memory care population is the reduction of anxiety. So residents in communities who might be experiencing what they would call challenging behaviors, through the use of touch, we're able to decrease those behaviors that might be harder to deal with for staff or family.
Well, and that's a good point, where the benefits of this goes so far beyond just the client, but maybe share a little bit how it does benefit the family or caregivers or, the community they're in.
So I view my role as an extra support person in cases like that. And I think it also teaches the family and caregivers how to touch in a respectful way. And it helps the staff of communities who might feel overwhelmed and they're not sure.
Right.
Sometimes what to do with somebody who might be having these challenging behaviors. And so it's really a learning experience for all of us.
Interesting. So give us a couple of tips on how to respectfully interact with touch with one of our elders.
Well, I would start with being at that person's level. I think that's like really the first step.
Huge.
So for example, if somebody's in a wheelchair, it would be more appropriate to bend down and make eye contact first, and to have your hand in their line of sight so it isn't a startling situation, and to just reach your hand out and allow them to place their hand on top of yours.
Okay.
And that's usually how I start. And I'll ask, would you like some lotion on your hands? And start with a hand massage.
Oh. Now, how many folks usually say yes when you ask that? I mean,
is
it pretty well received?
It is pretty well received.
Excuse me.
And the feedback that I get is that feels wonderful. I feel like I want to take a nap now. Positive feedback.
Okay. Now, I know, like, with my mom, and she's not that old. She's just in her 70s. Like, when we sit down and chat, she always likes to hold and pat my hand, which I do. We'll sit there and hold hands for hours as we talk. And she's always initiates it, always very receptive to it. But do you see where a lot of families get a little apprehensive as the elder ages and they're not doing those kinds of things? Or
you're saying, does the family feel apprehensive about using touch, or
they get a little nervous? I think
so.
Especially with memory care, when they're.
I think so. I think that sometimes there can be fear involved, maybe not understanding disease process, and it can be unsettling. So in a way, I view my role to raise awareness and education.
Okay.
And
that's awesome.
That hand holding can be a great thing, or even, placing your arm on somebody's shoulder and gently, cradling their shoulder can be a very comforting thing. Or also, if somebody's experiencing anxiety, to, come behind their chair, put both of your hands very gently on their shoulders and just hold.
Yeah. But I like what you said about having them see your hands in the line of sight so it doesn't startle them.
Yes. And that's more for advanced brain change and memory loss.
Yeah, and the various types of dementia and such. And actually, one of the dementia trainings I went to was Get Level. That not only is it important, but for them, it's very painful for them to be looking up at you.
Yes.
Versus being on that. So I think that's a great tip. And it sounds like the communities are pretty welcoming after they see some of these.
I think so.
Yeah? Yeah. What's some of the communities you go into?
Pomeroy Living in Northville. Several of the Sunrise senior living communities.
Okay.
Brookdale.
All right. Excellent. Yeah, I'm familiar with all those. Very good communities. Now, how do you service? Why don't you take us through like a session? Because, I mean, a lot of folks that I know on the younger side, they normally will get massages. They go down to their briefs or whatever, lay down. But you can accommodate a wide variety.
Every body is different. Every situation is different. So I really work to tailor each session to what the client needs. And that really starts with a thorough health intake. So before I would work with anybody, we do have a health history form to be filled out and a consent form. For older adults who are independent, they're usually able to complete that themselves. Once we get into any memory loss, it's ideal to be working with the family directly to help with that. And so with some folks who are independent, we can use a massage chair or table.
Okay.
And we can work directly through the clothes and have a positive effect. So that is an option. A lot of times we'll use a massage chair in the independent living communities and offer neck, shoulder, and back massages. And they love it. 15 minutes, and they feel like a new person.
Oh, heck yeah.
Right?
Oh, I think massages are great. Yeah, seriously. It's, you just feel better. I mean, overall, increased blood flow, the whole 9 yards. But so basically it can be whatever they want. You bring the equipment to their location.
Correct. So as a mobile business, I bring everything with me right to them. So they don't need to worry about transportation. Very convenient.
And if they wanted to do it, because we actually, my wife and I would have massage parties.
Okay.
And we brought a masseuse to the house. And then we had various friends. They would sign up for the time slots, and then we'd have wine, cheese, and...
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's just something different.
Right.
You know, instead of everyone just coming over, sitting around and going, hey, how was your day? It kind of broke it up. Then every time someone came back, they'd be like, oh, I'm so relaxed. And I think she used to make us keep it to like 6 people. And she'd do 6 30-minute.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So if you want to have an elder massage party,
I'd be glad to do it.
And seriously,
That'd be
it was a lot of fun. That's something folks can consider. But yeah, we just did wine, cheese, crackers, and people rotated through, and it was really a great experience. Matter of fact, we gotta set one of those up again. It's been a while.
So we do something kind of similar to that in some of these communities, but we call it a group wellness hour.
Okay.
So music, aromatherapy,
Nice.
and mini massages. And so I lead the activity. Everybody's in a circle, and we just kind of go around, and everybody's either, seated in a chair. And I just work with them that way. So that is kind of like a massage party for seniors.
Yeah, see, all kinds of opportunities. So we're going to talk about, actually I found this really cool thing, 10 ways to help your parent receive the physical contact all humans require. We'll talk about that in a minute. Now, who's been your longest patient? You don't have to give a name, but or client, I suppose, would be more appropriate term. Who's been your longest
Well, the longest person that I've worked with is somebody who is in their late 90s.
Wow.
And swears that it helps her every day to be able to get up and walk.
Nice.
So
and how often do you meet with her?
Weekly.
Okay. And is that what you kind of recommend for folks as a weekly basis, or?
I would say that would be ideal. Some folks opt to have 2 to 3 sessions a week. Some, because of financial considerations, prefer maybe monthly, but there's a wide variety of options available. I think the more frequently, the better, though.
I'd agree.
For reducing discomfort.
Okay. All right. Now, some of the other things that, and I really didn't know that all these benefits came from massage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my wife got me doing massages 25 years ago. And I was like the normal kind of guy where I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. I'm good. And she's like, just do one. Just
try it.
Just try it. And after a couple of times, and especially I'd been hit by a car.
I don't know if you can see my facial reaction to that statement. Wow. Sorry to hear that.
Life happens. But it broke in my shoulder blade and scapula. So I get like that muscle scar tissue build up in that. And what a difference it made.
So you've experienced firsthand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, seriously. And right now I can kind of feel it building back up. Mm-hmm. And then a good massage will break it back up. And it's totally fine for about a month.
Wonderful.
So, and then it goes back to that pain thing where it's like, why live with that, when you can get it taken care of? And I am the most anti-drug person you ever met. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, I don't want pain meds. No, I don't want sleeping pills. Don't need any of that. So, to me, I think it's a great service, but especially as you're getting older, it kind of goes beyond just that pain concept. It really comes down to part of that socialization that's being stripped away as we get older.
Yes.
You lose a spouse, your kids get older, you become more frail, and I do think people become apprehensive. Mm-hmm. I mean, when I was a young man, it wasn't, I remember coming home from the military, and they didn't know I was coming, and I walked in the house, my mom didn't see me, and I scooped her up, because I used to pick her up all the time for no apparent reason other than just to bug her, because that's how we roll. And, it was just one of those things where as she gets older, and now in a million years, I wouldn't think of doing that. Mm-hmm. So that's that one step away. And then I could see where with memory issues, and I haven't experienced that personally, but that would be probably another one where the family takes that one step away, unbeknownst, no malice intent. Mm-hmm. So for those folks, let's talk a little bit about ways that they can, and we chatted a little bit on it, but like this list here, and I'll go through them and you can give me your feedback on it. Always hug your parent when you greet them and depart.
I think that's a great idea, unless they've expressed that they would rather not be hugged.
Right, which could be the case.
It could be, and some people don't like that. But I think in general, that's a great idea. I think hugging, has it been said that maybe a 20-second hug
actually,
is good medicine?
It is. And you know what's funny is just kind of reading some stuff on this prior to it, there is a proper way to hug.
Heart side hugs?
Heart side hugs? I never heard of this. Why don't you explain what that is?
Well, the first time I heard of it was from a duo, Matt and Julia Breest, the Compassion Sound Healers.
Okay.
And they are both massage therapists, but they do sound healings, sound and vibration healings.
Okay.
And in their community events, they would say heart side hug, so meaning on the left side. And I think most people usually hug to the right, but it's to the left side. So it's heart to heart.
Interesting.
So
I wasn't quite sure what they meant by that. Thanks for explaining, because you're probably right. I mean, I'm right-handed. Most people are. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to think when I hugged my daughter yesterday. I think we went from that side. And then the other thing was to take 2 long, deep breaths during it.
Okay.
And that by you doing that, even the other person, unbeknownst to them, because breathing's huge, right?
Yes.
I mean, we start to get upset. The first thing we do, we quit breathing. It scares our body. Our heart rate starts increasing because it's not getting the oxygen flow. So our stress levels go up.
Right.
And just by someone taking that two long, deep breaths, it helps calm them down. But the heart side hug, yeah, I was like, at first I'm thinking, am I supposed to press? I don't feel comfortable doing that. But
I don't think you need to press. I think just
that
left side. Yes, the left side that your heart's on. Yeah.
See?
We learned something new.
Thank goodness you told me now, or I could have gotten slapped like crazy later on.
Glad we clarified that.
That's right.
And I appreciate you clarifying the breath too, because that is important for me as a therapist during sessions to watch my breathing. And I notice that the client then, they tend to match.
Yeah, because you're getting a workout while you're doing this. I mean,
a little bit.
Physically.
It can be.
Yeah.
It can be.
So, yeah, but that breathing, it's one of the things I went over with my kids since they were little, is as they would get upset or fall, hurt themselves or whatever, okay, now first thing we have to do is breathe.
That's excellent.
Step one. And
keep breathing.
Keep breathing, yeah, because that's what happens. Your body goes into a terror state, you know. Even if you get mad at your spouse, not that that would ever happen.
Well, I think conflict is inevitable in life.
It's going to happen, right?
It happens. It's all in how we deal with it.
Right, especially, you know, if you're into politics, then you get to deal with it every minute. So the next one was hold their hand and look them in the eyes while you're talking. And you chatted on that a little bit, but I love asking permission, what you were saying, basically. Putting your hand out there and just, you're physically asking permission.
Correct.
You know, you don't have to verbalize it. But I thought that was great. Offer your arm or hold their hand while you are walking together. Europeans are awesome at that. Americans stink at that.
So, are you familiar with Teepa Snow?
No.
She is...
Great name, though.
It is a great name, right? I think she's from North Carolina, and she is the Alzheimer's and dementia specialist. And in one of her trainings, she talked about having your arm on bottom and allowing the other person's arm to be on top so they feel supported.
Okay.
So it's a grounding thing to have that support.
When you're walking with them, your arm on the bottom.
Yes. Or even when I'm working with a client and I offer my hand, my hand is on the bottom so they feel supported. So great point.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. And, you know, isn't it funny, though? It's all these little subtle things that makes all the difference. It's even like walking in a store and just looking at someone giving that little nod of acknowledgement.
Yes.
You don't have to say a word. And matter of fact, I was just listening to a fellow who's lived in the States now for 3 years, and he came from Europe, I believe Germany, because he references it a lot, but he doesn't really have an accent. His English is phenomenal. And one of the things he noticed was that here in the States, we don't acknowledge people we don't know.
I experienced that a lot, walking down the street, and people aren't looking at each other and saying hello, and I think that is a practice we should bring back.
Stop. Yeah.
I think it would be nice
to interact, right? To
make eye contact, like you said, give a nod, give a smile, and I think that helps people to feel seen.
Well, it's kind of, my family's all from the South, and so I'm constantly, my kids will even say, Dad, do you have to say hi to everyone?
Yes, yes, I do.
Yes, I do. Right, that, and when a waiter or waitress comes up, if they don't have a name tag, ask them their name, and then refer to them by their name for the rest of the time you're together. You know, little stuff. But it is funny, because I haven't noticed that. When he said that, I was kind of like, no. But that's because of my background. And as I ask people, they're like, oh, yeah, no, you're a nutcase. You say hi to everyone. No.
I think it's a beautiful practice.
Oh, it's people, you know, I don't know if no one's ever maced me, so I guess it's okay. You know? So that's one of the things. Acknowledgement. This one I really liked. Dance together.
Oh. So music. is a great way to connect. Yes. So dancing. And even if someone is unable to dance, if they're seated, you can still hold their hands and kind of move with it.
Hey, we've all been to enough weddings that know the vast majority of people are fantastic seat dancers.
Yes.
Right?
Foot tappers.
Foot
head
tappers,
bobbers.
boppers.
Yes.
So Dance Together was one of the ones that we should, and these are all things that I think people can utilize when they are visiting their parents and such, and just see how it goes. But I think it would add so much more to that 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour a week you're spending with them.
Well, and speaking more on dancing, music, people love to be asked what kind of music they like. So even during our therapeutic massage sessions, I will usually ask, what do you like to listen to? I get a lot of Glenn Miller, big band, and I'll play it for them. And that helps too.
Nice. Do you get any Motown?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Do a lot of Motown.
Good.
This is Detroit.
I know, right?
Yes.
Best music ever. So that's really interesting. And what a great conversation starter.
Right. And for family members, I mean, sometimes I think once someone's aging, they might not know how to relate as well. So ask about music, ask about movies, find out what they used to really love and revisit that.
And keep those stories. Oh, my goodness. So we're at this really interesting time where if you look at the history of kids, like the term teenager, that didn't really even come into play until the late 40s, early 50s. Prior to that, kids were looked at more as an asset. But now the focus has totally went on kids, which is not a bad thing. But we don't look at the elders and cherish their knowledge, their wisdom. So I read an article, and it was pretty cool. Senior community, and it was in the Midwest somewhere. What they did was at a swap meet, about 6 or 7 of them set up more as a joke, ask an elder. And they set up a booth, and they were shocked where people were lining up and asking them questions.
Well, they're so wise. They have a lifetime of experience.
Right.
I think that's something that in our culture should be revisited and really valued. I think we've perhaps gotten away from that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think we absolutely have.
Right. I mean, other cultures, grandparents are revered for their lifetime of wisdom and experience. So, yes, definitely.
Rightly so, yeah.
Make conversation. I mean, even in a grocery store, sometimes I'll stop if I see a senior and just start talking to them. I always learn something.
Yeah.
So it's greatly impacted my life too.
Well, what I really love is all these folks that want to live green right now. They need to talk to my mama and papa.
Oh, yeah.
They grew 80% of their own food. They drank from a well. I mean, all these things are like kind of coming in style right now. They did to survive, you know? And it's like, what a great resource. But I think that's fantastic, and I highly recommend that. Stop and ask a senior something.
Stop and ask a senior. Smile at them.
Right.
You know,
and if they tell you something you already know, just listen anyway. You know, I was listening to TikTok. I don't know if you've listened to those or not, but the girl was talking about how this elder was super sweet guy. She goes, he was talking to me about a fire stick and how to use it. And she goes, I know how to do it. But he is just so darn cute. I just sat and listened to him for 30 minutes. What a win-win.
Right. And going back to the point of maybe some people aren't getting that interaction and conversation. And so being respectful and taking the time to do that really helps somebody to feel heard.
Oh, sure. So. And that's all goes back to that socialization, which this is all part of. And that physical contact is absolutely huge. Okay. You'll like this one. Well, we'll do this one first. Brush your mom's hair and put it up.
Oh, what a tender gift to give to a loved one. Absolutely.
Yeah. I know my daughter, when she was little, she would bring that brush out and Daddy brush my hair. And I'd sit there and brush her hair. And she loved it.
Well, and some people, especially if they're experiencing shoulder issues, they're not able to get their arm all the way up.
Oh, good point.
To brush their hair.
Yeah.
And so it probably feels really nice to have somebody take the time to do that.
And I imagine it brings up some very positive memories that they had. You know, all these things, even like the dancing thing, they might not express it, but get that positive mojo going.
Absolutely.
So this one, give your parents a back or foot rub, or give you a call.
Right.
And you'll do it for them.
Absolutely.
You can subcontract this.
You can.
How great is that?
And I've had family members who ask if they can stay and see what I do. So when there's time in between our sessions, they can offer the same thing. And I love that involvement.
That's actually very nice, because I think a lot of people might not allow that, you know, but it's the big difference is it sounds like you have a real heart and you're looking out for the best interest of your clients. So of course you're going to.
Of course. Thank you.
Oh, no worries. All right. See, this all goes up. Perform aromatherapy and a hand massage.
So what I will say about aromatherapy, I personally love it. Our emotions are closely tied to the part of our brain with scent. However, there are some people that are really sensitive, so it's always good to ask about that. Right. So not everybody likes it, but things like lavender can be very calming.
Yeah, lavender's fine. It's very nice. Well, it's such an important thing that, okay, so when you have a newborn baby, they have a particular scent. And it's amazing that scent is shown in women to cause them to want to protect that child. And all these natural things come out, but that shows how important scent is, right?
It really is.
I mean, where nature said, you know, hey, we don't want them to throw that little whiny thing away. Let's make them smell this way.
Right. Yeah, there's an intelligent design there.
You think? Yeah, right. Just didn't happen here. Okay. This one I think is awesome too. Bring a pet so your parent can touch it, and receiving touch through a pet.
Pet therapy is great. And I see a lot of communities that are bringing in pets, or even better, they have live-in
right there
dogs and cats or birds.
Yeah.
And they love it.
Oh, yeah. I have an old English bulldog that I really wanted to get certified so I can take him into senior communities, and he is the coolest little dude. Mr. Happy, loves everyone. But we had to put a little kibosh on it, because if he gets overly excited, he becomes a physical water fountain. And so far, you know, that probably wouldn't go over real well.
Right. So that could be a little troublesome. It could.
Right?
He has good intentions, though,
He has great intentions. He just gets so excited. I'm trying to get people to, okay, now, you calm down. Don't give him anything until he calms down. And it's hard to get people because they just want to go, oh. But,
right.
All right. Sit next to each other on the couch or perch on the edge of their bed instead of sitting in separate chairs. That's kind of a interesting one.
So again, with maybe the physical closeness.
Yeah.
Of being next to somebody.
Well, I think having that, obviously, like this table right here between us separates us, and the mics and everything. It's a necessity. But if this wasn't here, our conversation would probably be different. Possibly. I don't know.
I think you might be onto something.
Interesting. All right. Away at the table. We'll have to hold the mic. Now,
right.
And number 10, and here again, I didn't make these up. I pulled this from the top 10 ways to help your parent receive the physical contact all humans require. So 10 being one of the most important. Schedule regular massages for your parent.
Oh, that's great. Love
what
that.
a segue, right?
Yes, what a segue.
So tell us a little bit how they could actually do that.
So to schedule a session with me through Peaceful Connections, you can reach out through our website, which is www.peacefulconnections.us, or you can give me a call, 734-812-0797.
Okay, and notice that is a .us, not .com, C-O-M, so
Thank you.
.us.
Yes.
And one of the things, too, I think that it's real important, especially that folks consider, because there's a lot of massage therapists around. But having someone that specializes in the needs of elders, my opinion, is paramount. We all have different physical makeups, and just like the little Thai woman who, I mean, I was in pretty daggone good shape, and she made the next 3 days of hiking really rough. And
yeah, we're not seeking to do that
right
in this practice.
But you've had that experience, and it's like anything. It's like if I do something 10,000 times and you do it 2 times, I'm going to be better at it. And where you specialize in that particular niche, I imagine you're going to be much more in tune to their needs. It's going to be a much better experience for them. And overall, at the end of the day, that's what we're wanting, them to have a great experience and to reap the health benefits from it, and not walk away going, this side feels like it's in the wrong side now, or
right. Yeah, that it wouldn't be the goal. So it is a gentle approach. And I think it really starts in the heart. I think if you're going to work with seniors, you have to have a heart for it and really love it. And I do.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on so much, Emily. It was just a pleasure chatting with you. And I think this is something that a lot of folks don't know exists. And they know massage therapy exists, but I don't think folks know that there's someone that specializes in that elder massage therapy. We've talked about there's a ton of benefits, both physically and mental. And, so don't hesitate. Schedule a massage. If they had more questions on it,
reach out anytime.
Okay.
I'll be happy to answer any questions.
All right. If you want to schedule a massage party, I highly recommend it. Seriously, we're going to have to do that again. It was the best thing in the world.
Yeah, get that on the books.
Oh, yeah. And people, it was quite humorous, though. When we did our first one, we had a lot of our friends going, "You're doing what?" But they know. They're used to us doing weird themed parties. Not that that's weird.
Well, interesting.
Interesting.
I mean,
yeah, that's a better term.
Thinking, right?
Right. That's a better term. Yeah, we did a, what was it? One party where basically you had to describe the food and write them on, and you couldn't use the same words someone else was. So we had these little tastings. And as it went through, we hung them up on little Post-it notes. Then I played a blues tune, and you had to sing a song about someone in the room whose name you pulled using the terms on that particular.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, it was hilarious. It was a hoot. And, it was a wine tasting. It wasn't food. So it even made it more fun.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So once again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For being a great guest. And I think the things you're doing is awesome. And at this point, we're going to end class at Baby Boomer University. Will you do us the pleasure? Thanks for tuning in. Have a great week.